thought, you know, when we got elected, that we'd be all doing this stuff.
Oh my goodness,
Here you go, sir. I think they're ready for you.
Oh, they are? All right.
Take it away, Roger.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you. I'm Mayor Bono. So on behalf of my council and staff, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to our quaint village of Westwood in the township of Asphodel, Norwood. Our Premier, Doug Ford, Minister Surma, and Minister Piccini, and our Finance Minister, Peter, our Warden, J. Murray Jones of Peterborough County, Warden Bob Crate gave his regrets he couldn't be here today, and to all the mayors of Peterborough County and Peterborough, Northumberland South, welcome. I'm honored that our township has been chosen to kickstart the funding announcement of the OCIF, which is Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund. What OCIF means to our township, well, that's easy. Our expansion starts from the ground up. As much as we budget for the future, without our partnership with our government, we would be years in the making. So once again, thank you to all of you. Stay healthy, shop often, and shop local. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the Premier of Ontario, Mr. Doug Ford.
Great, thank you, Mayor. That's great. Well, first of all, good morning, everyone, and it's great to be here, and thank you, Mayor Bono. And I just got to give a shout out to Mrs. Carswell I just met. She was first person here this morning, and she told me she's been walking across this bridge for 80 years. That's unbelievable, so God bless you, 80 years. Now you're going to be walking across a new bridge. It's, again, such a pleasure to be here alongside with Minister Surma, Minister Bethlenfalvy, MPP Smith, and the local champion, as I say, Minister David Piccini. I want to recognize the exceptional work done in this community by the Mayor and CAO, Candace White, who we'll hear from very shortly. You both are tremendous public servants, and we're all grateful for your continued work. My friends, in the face of big challenges, our government has a plan for growing a stronger economy. An economy that works for everyone, not just for big cities and towns, but in the small communities and townships that are the lifeblood of this province. It's a plan that will protect our progress in our fight against COVID-19, but that also looks beyond to the Ontario we want to build, the future we want for our kids and grandkids. When Ontario's economy is firing on all cylinders, it's an unstoppable machine. It's the engine that powers this country. And for that to happen, to unleash Ontario's full economic potential, we must look to our small, rural, and northern communities. Communities that are the heart and soul of our province. Communities that support local businesses and manufacturing and allow people to live well and thrive. And the fact is, these communities have been ignored for too long by previous governments. Governments that said the right things, but never followed through. Governments who acknowledged the shortcomings of the infrastructure in small communities, but never cared enough to fix it. Governments who made election promises and then turned their backs until the next one. Well, my friends, those days are done, because this government won't leave anyone behind as we build Ontario for the future. That's why we're announcing today an additional $1 billion in funding over the next 5 years. Towards the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund, this increase will help 424 Ontario communities improve critical infrastructure projects, including roads, bridges, water, and wastewater. And I also saw a few people with signs that said splash pads. We'll get you a splash pad here. We'll make sure that happens. In fact, in this riding alone, there are 11 communities that will benefit directly from this funding. This is great news for them, but also for all Ontario, because we know that small, rural, and northern communities have their own unique infrastructure challenges. And if these aren't addressed, these communities won't be able to have access to to the promise and opportunities that Ontario of tomorrow provides. But when they are addressed, the benefits of these investments will be felt all across the provincial economy. The Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund is one way our government is building Ontario. Through this funding, we're supporting modern and efficient public infrastructure that is critical to building a strong provincial economy. From one corner of Ontario to the other, from north to south, to east to west, and everywhere in between, we're creating local jobs and making our communities stronger, more resilient, and prepared to succeed for generations to come. Friends, we've come so far. We've sacrificed so much. We can't afford to go back to the politics of no. Instead, our government is saying yes. Yes to building, yes to investing, and yes to growing. Friends, let's say yes to the better and brighter future that people of Ontario deserve. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. Now I'll hand it over to Minister Surma. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to be in MPP Pacini's riding today alongside Premier Ford, Minister Bethlenfalvy, Mayor Roger Bonneau, CAO Candace White, and all of you. The last time I visited the riding, it was a very cold day, much like today, but I received a very warm welcome. So thank you for your hospitality. Earlier this month, our government released the 2021 Ontario Economic Outlook and Fiscal Review, Build Ontario. In it, we reaffirmed our commitment to supporting small, rural, and northern communities such as Asphodel-Norwood by increasing the amount of annual funding they are getting through the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund program, also known as OCIF. Over the next 5 years, we are investing an additional $1 billion in OCIF to help 424 communities repair, modernize roads, bridges, drinking water, stormwater, and wastewater projects. That works out to an additional $200 million every year until 2026. Through this increased funding, eligible communities will see their minimum annual funding double. It's the certainty they have been calling for, and we listened. The past 20 months or so have really reinforced how crucial it is to have strong infrastructure systems in place. Reliable highways, road networks, and bridges lead the way for successful vaccine and PPE deliveries. They help to ensure our basic needs, such as food, get stocked on store shelves or give us a path to travel on when accessing essential services. Through our government's investments under this program, municipalities were able to address significant projects that were in need of repair, upgrade, and rehabilitation. These include road resurfacing in places like Chatham, Kent, Sarnia, and Haldimand County, repairing wastewater treatment plants in Muskoka and West Nipissing, replacing and rehabilitating water mains in Fort Erie and Timmins, reconstructing some of the oldest municipal infrastructure underground in Dryden, upgrades to water treatment plants in Blind River and the township of Tay, and widening part of County Road 45 in Northumberland County while adding dedicated left turn lanes and installing curbs, storm sewers, and other drainage improvements. We know the global pandemic has hit Ontario's communities hard, which is why our government never stopped building throughout it. Now more than ever, investing in the province's infrastructure is something we cannot afford to delay or downplay. We have a responsibility to ensure all residents, whether they live in small or big urban centers, have access to the infrastructure and the services they need. Over the next 10 years, our government is investing $148 billion to build hospitals, long-term care homes, schools, public transit, highways, and other facilities families rely upon. As the Minister of Finance said when he rose in the House to present the 2021 Fall Economic Statement, tomorrow's prosperity begins with shovels in the ground today. To communities across the province, we are here, we are listening, and we are responding. Together, we will build Ontario. Thank you, and now I would like to pass it on to the Minister of Finance.
Good job.
Well, thank you, Minister Surma, and good morning, and thank you for that kind introduction. I'm really thrilled to be here alongside the Premier, Minister Surma, Mr. Piccini, and MPP Smith for this exciting announcement. And through our 2021 Ontario Economic Outlook and Fiscal Review, Build Ontario, you're going to hear that a lot, Build Ontario. Our government is investing to get things built in Ontario. After all, we titled our plan, Build Ontario, for a reason. It's a plan that recognizes tomorrow's prosperity, as Kinga said, which depends on getting shovels in the ground today. C'est un plan qui tient compte de la prospérité future, de la nécessité d'entamer des travaux de construction dès maintenant. Because for too long, governments wasted taxpayer dollars on projects for their own short-term political gain, instead of investing in assets that will improve our economic productivity in the long term by spending on critical municipal infrastructure. As was mentioned, roads, the bridge that we're on right now, water and wastewater projects. Our government will directly support public safety, job creation, and economic growth, and perhaps a splash pad, and help to lay a strong, stable foundation for Ontario's long-term economic recovery and prosperity, ce qui contribuera à l'établissement d'une base solide et stable pour la relance économique et la prospérité de l'Ontario à long terme. And I just want to say thank you to the folks over there that are working on this bridge so that Francis can, and people like Francis can walk another 80 years safely on this bridge. So thank you very much. And I'll now pass it over to, I believe, Candace. Or no, sorry. Before that, I will go to Minister Piccini. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you, Peter. It's wonderful to be here this morning. Thank you, Mayor Bono, for the hospitality and for hosting us. It's always, despite the cold conditions, warm when you come to Northumberland, Peterborough South. And not only is it a warm welcome, but thanks to incredible small business owners like Zach Copeland who are here today, we're sending you back well fed. So thank you for being here today. I'd like to give a special shout out for Minister Surma. She's listened. For years, as a local member of provincial parliament here, when I got first elected, we heard about the infrastructure needs in rural Ontario. And thanks to the leadership, especially, of Asphodel Norwood, Mayor Bono, and Candace White, who time after time came to government and brought forward meaningful solutions. And for me to be an effective local representative of all of you, I need to rely on you. You bring your ideas, and I appreciate that. And so, Minister Surma, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to the voices of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of rural Ontarians. Because the strength of Ontario comes from you, the people. You work hard each and every day. The mums and dads who take their kids to school every day on this road. Farmers who tend to their fields. Decades of neglect, we know, left many of our most rural municipalities struggling to keep up with infrastructure, with the necessary investments needed to maintain roads and bridges. We know that previous governments spent so much with such little to show for it in rural Ontario. No more. Under the leadership of this Premier, we're building Ontario. For the farmer who gets up at the crack of dawn, we're widening Centerline Road so you can get modern machinery and equipment to the field. We've got your back. We've said yes. For the worker who drives down County Road 45 each and every day on the way to work, we're supporting road expansion and upgrades. We've got your back. We've said yes. For those looking for a new job, we've created the conditions for job creation by extending Pemberton Road in Port Hope, expanding the Industrial Business Park. We've got your back, and we've said yes. Ontario's municipalities are where the rubber hits the road. Thanks to today's investment, we're going to see safe, reliable, modern roads and bridges across rural Ontario. We deserve it. Rural Ontario deserves it. Friends, since our government was elected in 2018, the riding of Northumberland Peterborough South has seen a cumulative increase of $9.4 million more dollars invested through the OCIF funding for roads, bridges, and other vital infrastructure. In the case of Norwood, where we are here today, this means an over 208% increase in funding for Westwood, for Norwood, for this entire township. We couldn't do this without you. This is the largest year-over-year increase in Ontario's history. And I want to thank all of you for being here today. Thank you to local leaders, councillors, many of whom are with us here today from across Northumberland, Peterborough South. We can't be effective provincial representatives without you. So thank you. Thank you to everyone else who's joined us here today. And yes to the splash pad. Thanks for having us.
Good morning, everyone. Today is an exciting day. Premier Ford's announcement answers the call from all rural municipalities in the province of Ontario for sustainable, predictable, and flexible funding for critical infrastructure replacement projects. What makes the timing of this announcement even more crucial is the increasing criticality of broadband issues across rural Ontario, which municipalities can also address utilizing this redesigned, formula-based funding stream. When a funding envelope is predictable and consistent, it allows the opportunity for municipal governments to financial plan with a solid commitment of dollars, which solidifies the purpose of the asset management plan. Without investment, a plan simply becomes paper on a shelf or a save file on a desktop instead of being the working, breathing, tangible document it was intended to be. The Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund provides that crucial investment. The Township of Asphodel-Norwood wishes to thank Premier Ford, Minister Piccini, and Minister Surma for hearing our concerns and bringing certainty to the communities of Ontario. Today proves that when levels of government hear each other and align their priorities, good things happen. Thank you.
We'll now take questions from the media. If those with questions could please form a line at the microphone behind me. It'll be one question and one follow-up, please.
Right.
Great, thank you, Premier. So I just wanted to ask about the funding in general for the riding for Peterborough Kawartha. Can you expand a bit about which communities are going to see work done and when that will pan out?
Yeah, great question, but I'm going to send that over to the Minister of Infrastructure. She understands the file being done.
Thank you very much. I can't speak to all of the communities. What I can say is that everyone will be notified of their allocations today. An official letter is going out. Asphodel-Norwood, though, will see an increase from 170,000 to 340,000. And then I think Minister Piccini had the cumulative amount of what it means for all of the municipalities in the riding.
Yeah, thank you. That's an excellent question. I know for folks wondering, Peterborough Kawartha, Northumberland, Peterborough South. So we've got the wonderful fortune I have of representing Otonabee, South Monaghan, Asphodel-Norwood in the riding of Northumberland, Peterborough South. So Peterborough Kawartha across is receiving an increase. I sent an email this morning, embargoed to all of County Council, letting them know about the increase. And locally, as I said, in this community that I represent, this is a $9.8 million increase from when I was first elected. And in most municipalities, in fact, almost all we're seeing over 100% increase, some over 200% increase. And we know it's formula based, and we know it responds to the needs for rural Ontarians that have proud farming traditions and live in beautiful rural Ontario like this. So every single municipality in both of our respective communities is seeing the largest increase they've seen in modern history.
Just a quick follow-up. So I'm not sure who can field this, but just in terms of the work for this bridge in particular, obviously this is discussions going on for years now. Back in 2019, a lot of petitions brought to the township. People want to see it preserved for its heritage, its unique style. So can you tell us what exactly is going to change, what's going to remain the same about this bridge? There was the debate about replace or repair. So what's actually going to take place on this bridge, and how will it change commutes for pedestrians and drivers?
I apologize, my friend. I'm going to talk to the local minister there.
Thank you for your question. This is actually a Peterborough County construction project, but I can speak that it's a full bridge replacement. To speak to the historical railings, yes, a historical concrete parapet railing will be installed in order to mimic the historical features of the bridge. But all in all, it's going to be a sustainable asset for Westwood to carry it into the future. And all levels of government, the upper tier, the lower tier, have worked together to ensure that all residents in Westwood were heard and that their issues were taken seriously and addressed. Thank you.
Okay. We'll take the next question.
Oh. Hey there, Jamie.
Good morning, Mr. Premier. Mr. Premier, we're now learning apart how important the boosters may be against Omicron. However, there are seniors across the province who are unable to book appointments, they're struggling to book appointments, they're not getting them until the new year. What is your government doing to ramp up the booster shots for seniors and vulnerable citizens and everyone else that's qualified for a booster shot?
Thanks for that question, Jamie. First of all, we have the strongest pandemic plan anywhere in the entire country. On December the 13th, people 50 years and older are going to be able to get their boosters. We're focusing as well on kids 12 and up. Actually, we hit 90% yesterday, right across the province with the vaccinations. And we're going to continue getting out there into all communities across the province. We're going to make sure that everyone has an opportunity, not only the 50 plus to get the boosters, but other people to get vaccinated as well. We're vaccinating 6 and up in schools. We're gonna continue focusing on making sure that many people get tested. I'll give you an example, and these are staggering numbers. We have given out 33 million rapid tests, and to put that into perspective, BC has about 6 million people. They've given out 1.1 million. Quebec has given out 5.7 million. Ontario has given out 33 million. We're also giving 11 million kits, 5-packs to students to bring home until they can get tested, their family can get tested. We're giving out about 1 million tests every single week. So those are staggering numbers. We're going to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to get their booster shot as well. And we're opening up mobile units as well.
Okay, the next question comes from Cynthia. It is about the tests, and several other outlets also emailed me and texted me about the test kits. A lot of families are getting together for Christmas. They want to be safe, of course. And why can't they walk into a pharmacy and get a free rapid test or a cheap rapid test so everyone can be sure that when they get together that there's not a COVID case amongst them that could spread to them? And that was reflected in a lot of questions from the CBC, CTV.
Yeah. Well, again, to put that into perspective, there's no one that's handing out more tests than we are, 33 million. Matter of fact, we're doing 57% of all rapid tests in the entire country. So we're handing out more tests than every province and territory combined. We're handing it out in transit areas. We're handing it out to businesses. We're handing out to congregate care, home care, long-term care, hospitals. So we're covering the gamut of making sure that people have the test. We're handing out, again, 1 million a week. Those are staggering numbers. 11 million are going home, packs of 5 for families, and a total of 33 million tests. We have a plan. It's a strong plan, and we're going to make sure that we continue implementing the pandemic plan. And as I said, Jamie, we have the strongest pandemic plan in the country, bar none.
Hey, can I come to the opening of the splash pad here?
Yeah, you can come if you're going to wear your. So Jamie's question, if people didn't hear it, can he come to the opening of the splash pad? You can come as long as you wear your Speedo, okay?
There are no more questions.
I don't want to see that site personally, but anyways. That's it. Anyways, thanks so much, folks. What a great town, and God bless each and every one of you.